but it's $1 million up for each one. That's $5 million, Mr. 28 million in Forbes. Bring yours however you want. And since you're not a puppet, don't bring no white people with you then. That's a $5 million bet individually. You can take it all, or you can take it part and parcel. This is the new movement. And tell them plastic cup boys, we make enough money to drink out of real glassware.
I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah. I'm gonna need you to get rid of all the leftover pizza boxes. The what? All the boxes left over from the pizza. All the boxes. Okay. Make sure you recycle the plastic like we talked about. Yeah.
A recently circulated audio clip, claimed by some online to be a leaked jail phone call involving Sean Diddy Combs, has sparked a wave of discussion across social media. Around the same time, comedian Katt Williams made a series of cryptic remarks that many viewers believe could be connected to the controversy. While none of these interpretations have been verified, they've fueled intense speculation about what his comments might actually mean. In one clip, Katt Williams raises a hand gesture while talking about what he calls a new movement. Some viewers believe the gesture resembles a heart symbol, while others point out that he appears to break it apart moments later. That detail has attracted attention because, several years ago, Sean Combs officially changed his legal middle name to Love, explaining publicly that Love had become his real name rather than simply a nickname. Because of that name change, some people now believe Katt's gesture may have been aimed directly at Diddy. However, there is no evidence confirming that interpretation, and Katt himself has never publicly explained the meaning behind the gesture. The speculation didn't stop there. In the same clip, Katt makes unusual references to pizza boxes, plastic, and $1 million for each box. Those comments quickly spread online, with some users claiming they were coded references to something much bigger. Despite those theories, there is no verified evidence that these remarks were intended as coded language or that they relate to any criminal investigation. Another phrase that caught people's attention was Katt's reference to what he called the plastic cup boys, followed by the comment that they make enough money to drink from real glass. Like many of his jokes and cryptic statements, the exact meaning remains open to interpretation. Some internet users have tried linking the remark to evidence discussed in public reports surrounding the investigation into Diddy, but those connections remain speculative and have not been confirmed. This isn't the first time Katt Williams has challenged powerful figures in the entertainment industry. Throughout his career, he's often mixed comedy with social commentary, taking aim at celebrities, executives, and what he believes are the hidden realities of Hollywood. His interviews and stand-up routines regularly spark debate because many of his remarks blur the line between satire, personal opinion, and broader criticism of the industry. One of his most talked-about appearances came during an interview where he discussed what he believes are rituals, symbolism, and long-standing power structures within Hollywood. Those comments generated widespread conversation online, with supporters praising him for speaking openly, while critics argued that many of his claims were based on personal beliefs rather than verifiable evidence. As the discussion surrounding Diddy continues to unfold, Katt Williams' past comments are once again being revisited. Whether his recent remarks were simply another example of his trademark style or something more intentional remains unclear. But one thing is certain, the conversation surrounding both men is far from over. As Katt Williams continued making headlines with his comments, another name connected to Diddy's past also returned to the spotlight, Suge Knight. The former Death Row Records executive, who is currently serving a prison sentence, has repeatedly spoken about Diddy and the ongoing legal case from behind bars. His remarks have drawn significant attention, although many of his claims remain unverified and should be viewed as allegations rather than established facts. During a recent interview, Suge Knight argued that the issues now surrounding Diddy have existed within the entertainment industry for decades. According to Knight, many people were aware of certain behaviors, but chose not to speak publicly about them. While those statements have fueled debate online, they have not been independently confirmed. Knight also addressed Diddy's time in federal custody after his request for bail was denied. When asked whether he believed Diddy was safe in jail, Knight explained that prison is an unpredictable environment for anyone, regardless of status or fame. He suggested that inmates can become targets simply because of who they are, while also warning against publicly discussing personal safety inside prison, claiming it could lead to additional restrictions if authorities believed someone was at risk of self-harm. Beyond discussing prison conditions, Knight shared his personal opinions on how Diddy should handle incarceration, offering advice about adjusting to life behind bars. Those comments quickly spread across social media, adding even more attention to an already high-profile case. The interview became even more controversial when Knight discussed allegations involving so-called freak-off parties that prosecutors have referenced in their case against Diddy. Knight claimed that stories about unusual behavior in the music industry had circulated for years and suggested that many insiders were already familiar with them. However, the specific claims he made have not been proven in court, and several remain allegations. As the conversation continued, Knight mentioned several well-known celebrities while describing what he believed was the culture inside parts of the entertainment business. Those remarks generated widespread discussion online, with supporters claiming he was exposing hidden truths, while critics questioned both the timing and credibility of his statements. Although Knight once moved within the same music circles as Diddy, their relationship has long been defined by one of hip-hop's most famous rivalries. That history has led many people to closely examine everything Knight says about the ongoing investigation, while others argue his personal conflicts with Diddy should be considered when evaluating his claims. Understanding that rivalry is important because it stretches back to one of the most turbulent periods in hip-hop history. The conflict between Bad Boy Records and Death Row Records shaped an entire era, influencing relationships throughout the industry and eventually becoming linked to one of music's greatest unsolved tragedies, the murder of Tupac Shakur. As that story unfolds, it provides critical context for why discussions surrounding Diddy continue to attract so much public attention today. As the discussion shifted from today's legal battles to events that shaped hip-hop history, attention once again turned to the long-running rivalry between Diddy and Suge Knight. That rivalry has remained at the center of countless debates for decades, particularly because of its connection to the deaths of Tupac Shakur and the Notorious B.I.G. One of the most frequently discussed names in those conversations is Dwayne Keefe D. Davis. Keefe D. has publicly claimed that he was involved in the events surrounding Tupac's murder, and his statements have fueled years of speculation about who else may have been connected. However, many of the broader allegations surrounding the case remain disputed, and several key questions have never been definitively answered. The tension between Diddy and Suge Knight had been building long before Tupac's death. During an awards show in the mid-1990s, Suge Knight famously took what many believed was a public jab at Diddy, telling artists who wanted creative freedom to join Death Row Records instead of working for producers who appeared in their music videos. Although Knight never directly named Diddy, most people in the audience understood exactly who he was referring to. According to accounts from people close to the situation, that moment only deepened the rivalry between Bad Boy Records and Death Row Records. The relationship between the two camps became increasingly hostile, with arguments, confrontations, and growing tensions on both coasts. At the same time, Tupac Shakur's relationship with Diddy and the Notorious B.I.G. had also become strained. After surviving a shooting at a New York recording studio in 1994, Tupac openly questioned whether people close to him had prior knowledge of the attack. Although he publicly expressed suspicion, he never conclusively proved that Diddy or Biggie were involved, and both denied any connection to the shooting. As the East Coast-West Coast rivalry intensified, the situation became increasingly personal. Tupac eventually signed with Death Row Records after Suge Knight helped secure his release from prison. Soon afterward, he released Hit 'Em Up, one of the most famous diss tracks in hip-hop history, directly targeting Biggie, Diddy, and others associated with Bad Boy Records. The song further escalated tensions between the two camps and became one of the defining moments of the feud. Over the years, numerous theories have emerged about what happened next. Some investigators, former law enforcement officials, journalists, and individuals connected to the case have offered different accounts of the events leading up to Tupac's murder. While some believe the attack was connected to the ongoing rivalry, others dispute those conclusions. Even after decades of investigations, many aspects of the case continue to be debated, and several claims remain unproven. Although arrests have been made in connection with the investigation, public interest has never faded. Every new interview, court filing, or public statement seems to revive questions that have lingered for nearly 3 decades. As a result, the story surrounding Tupac's death continues to overlap with the ongoing scrutiny surrounding Diddy, keeping both cases firmly in the public spotlight. As investigators continued examining the events surrounding Tupac's murder, the focus eventually shifted to the testimony and claims made by Keffe D. Over the years, he has given multiple interviews describing his version of what happened, alleging that Diddy offered money in connection with a plot targeting Suge Knight. Diddy has consistently denied involvement in Tupac's murder, and no court has found him responsible for the crime. According to Keffe D's account, the tension reached a breaking point during Mike Tyson's fight weekend in Las Vegas. Following an earlier confrontation involving members of rival groups, emotions were already running high. Keffe D claimed that the situation quickly escalated, leading to the fatal shooting that took Tupac Shakur's life. While his account has been widely discussed, investigators and legal experts have continued to debate which parts of his story can be independently verified. Keffe D also claimed that he was promised a large payment after the shooting, but never received it. Those allegations have become a major part of the public narrative surrounding the case, although they have never been proven in court. According to his version of events, disagreements over the alleged payment later influenced his decision to speak publicly about what he claimed had happened. Years later, Keffe D became a key figure in renewed investigations into Tupac's murder. Former LAPD Detective Greg Kading has said that many details provided by Keffe D matched information gathered during earlier investigations. However, despite those statements, prosecutors have faced significant legal hurdles, and many questions surrounding the case remain unresolved. One of the biggest challenges has always been proving who, if anyone, ordered the crime. While numerous theories have circulated for decades, investigators have repeatedly acknowledged that establishing criminal responsibility requires evidence that meets a much higher legal standard than speculation or public opinion. The mystery surrounding Tupac's death has continued to fuel documentaries, books, interviews, and endless debate within the hip-hop community. Every new development seems to reopen old wounds and revive long-standing questions about one of music's most infamous unsolved cases. More recently, former Diddy bodyguard Gene Deal has also spoken publicly about the investigation. During interviews, he claimed authorities could continue examining financial records and other evidence that might reveal additional information. Deal also repeated claims involving an alleged $1 million check connected to Eric Von Zip Martin, suggesting the payment deserved further scrutiny. However, no official investigation has publicly confirmed that such a payment proves involvement in Tupac's murder. Law enforcement has never announced evidence establishing that the alleged check directly funded the crime, and any connection remains the subject of ongoing speculation rather than established fact. Even after nearly 3 decades, the Tupac case continues to generate new theories and renewed public interest. As Diddy's legal battles unfold, many people are once again revisiting one of hip-hop's greatest mysteries, searching for answers that have remained elusive for years. As the investigation continued, another former insider added his voice to the growing conversation. Gene Deal, who once worked as Diddy's bodyguard, has repeatedly spoken about the Tupac case in recent interviews. He believes investigators could still uncover additional evidence, although many of his statements reflect his personal opinions rather than confirmed findings. One of Deal's most talked about claims involves an alleged $1 million check that he says he personally saw years after Tupac's death. According to Deal, the check was connected to Eric Von Zip Martin, a longtime figure associated with the music industry. He has maintained that several other people also saw the check and believes it deserves closer examination. Deal argues that if investigators were able to establish a documented financial trail connected to that payment, it could potentially raise new legal questions. However, he also acknowledges that Tupac's murder remains a state case in Nevada, meaning any future charges would depend on new evidence that satisfies the legal requirements of that investigation. At the same time, Deal has emphasized that no public record has disproved the existence of the alleged check. He believes financial records could provide additional answers if they were fully examined. Still, there has been no official announcement from law enforcement confirming that such a payment directly links anyone to Tupac's murder. Legal experts continue to point out that speculation alone is not enough to support criminal charges. Even if claims receive widespread attention online, investigators must rely on verifiable evidence that can withstand scrutiny in court. That's one of the biggest reasons the case has remained so complicated for decades. As Diddy's ongoing legal battles continue to dominate headlines, interest in older controversies has also been reignited. Past rivalries, decades-old interviews, and previously overlooked claims are all being revisited by the public, with many people trying to understand whether any of those events are connected to today's investigations. For now, many of the questions surrounding Tupac's murder remain unanswered. While new interviews and personal accounts continue to generate discussion, much of the information circulating online remains disputed, and the legal process continues to separate verified evidence from speculation. The Diddy case is still unfolding, and with each new development, public interest only continues to grow. Whether future investigations reveal new evidence or simply reopen old debates remains to be seen. As always, the facts established in court will ultimately carry far more weight than rumors or online theories. If you found this breakdown informative, let us know your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss our latest updates. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.